talking to the sellers and coming from a place of authority. I call it maintaining alpha on a sales call is a big deal, man, because when you're trying to buy someone's primary asset, right, they've got to trust you. Like, this is, for most people you talk to, this is their biggest investment. And if they can even smell blood in the water,
right,
they're like, fuck you, dude, I ain't dealing with you. This is my house. So you really have to, sometimes we do, and I use this for other things too, we do what's called a brag sheet. And, like, it's going through and listing out what you actually have done. And if you haven't done anything yet, list the resources of your friends. Be like, man, the people that I run with, the people that are my partners, are buying about 10 houses per month. Let's see. And they're on average, that's 120,000. So it's $1.2 million per month. If I count Justin, Michael, Brad, whatever, whoever's in your circle.
Sure.
And they're like, and then they're probably rehabbing 4 of those, and they're probably spending about 30 grand per rehab. So that's 120. Just write that shit down and be like, when you're talking to this, read it yourself and be like, holy shit, I actually do know some really cool people.
Right.
And you need to start to realize that when you're on the phone with that seller, you may very well be their best opportunity to get what they fucking need.
Exactly.
You've got to step into that. It's your responsibility. So when you come to the table and play small, you're not only fucking yourself, you're fucking the seller.
Right.
You have that obligation to step in there and be like, look, man, I have these resources. With great power comes great freaking responsibility, right? You've got all these resources. You need to tell the seller, number 1, who you are, number 2, what you can do, and number 3, to shut the fuck up and listen, because I'm the best opportunity you got right now.
Right. Yeah. These coaching students of mine, sometimes we talk about how to have this conversation with the homeowner. And I try to pull some kind of Chris Angel mind freak deal on them, because I know they need to change this mentality. I almost want to grab them and say, and sometimes I don't grab them because I'm on the phone, but I would if I was close enough. And I say, okay, now you tell me, who's the baddest bitch in the room? Who's the baddest bitch in the room? It's you. And now, okay, are you ready now? Are you ready? Now dial. Okay.
Like, dude, it's no different than, and everybody goes through it, and you're going to sound stupid. You just got to learn it. I mean, I'm going through it right now because I'm transitioning into marketing for doing transformational coaching. And I have these moments when I'm like, like I'm recording a webinar and I'm like, dude, who the fuck's going to want to hear this? Who am I to talk about this? Right. And the truth is, I'm a fucking great person to talk about it. But like my mind, I call it little Brad. Everybody's got the little guy in him. The 2 wolves on the shoulder. You guys heard that story?
Everybody's insecure in some way, right?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That's the fears. And just face it. Here's another thing. If you feel those fears, first of all, do not be critical to yourself. Look at yourself, and guys, this might sound stupid, but I'm gonna take you through this. Like, if you have fears and shit, you just look at it and you look at yourself like with care. You like a mother would look at a child. You say, okay, I understand you, Brad, or little Brad. Tell me how you feel. And you write out these fears. And then you look at them and you're like, hold on a second. And then you go back and you write why they're not true.
Yeah.
And just that practice alone, I wish I had my iPad here, because guys, I still do that.
Yeah.
I still do that.
That's a great idea.
And you got to get that shit out of you. And you got to be, the whole idea of wearing a macho mask and being like, oh, I'm tough and I'm not going to talk about it. Well, guess what? Then it's just going to keep fucking you over until you get it out of you, until you understand it, until you take the time to look at it.
Right.
And you just got to overcome it.
So write it down, your fears, your biggest fears, write them down, and then look at it and look how dumb it looks.
Yeah. And then what you're going to realize is it comes from some insecurity. It always comes from 2 things, insecurity and fear. And insecurity is fear. There's only 2 emotions in the world, guys, love and fear. And everything negative comes from fear, and everything positive comes from love. So if it isn't coming from love, it's fear. But out of fear, how many things come out of that? Guilt, shame, anger, jealousy. I mean, there's all kinds of shit over there, right? Yeah. So figure out where it's coming from, and then look at yourself and say, you know what? There's usually a reason. And if you get good at this, you might find out that, maybe it goes back to that one time that you told your uncle that you were going to be a real estate investor, and he told you that you don't have 2 nickels to scratch together, and you took it serious. Like, there's always some type of incident where you took something and it traumatized you on whatever level. Sometimes it can be physical trauma. Other times it can just be something that somebody that you cared about said.
Right.
And then that runs your life. So you have to actually get that back out of you and look at it and be like, where the fuck does that come from?
Yeah.
Because that's not even true. Right.
Yeah.
And you have to do it with compassion.
Yeah. One time I went and saw a psychologist for a few visits back when I was, when I went through some similar things. I lost everything and went back to drinking for a little while, several years ago. And during that stint, I went and saw a psychologist a few times. And, he told me, we talked about a lot of the things that you were just talking about there, Brad, but he said that, what a lot of this boils down to is you're just not being honest with yourself about some of this. And, I have to admit the guy was right. I was building up the fears, the insecurities, I was blowing them up. And then the good things, I was bringing them down. I'm not really taking things really how they really are here.
That's so true, man. I call it radical personal responsibility. And we all understand it's integrity, guys, but it's not integrity just in business. Yes, you have to have integrity in business and do what you say, but it's integrity to your fucking self.
Exactly.
Stop lying to yourself. Don't say something that isn't true to yourself. And guys, if you can learn to be honest with yourself, and to do this, it takes awareness. So first you have to be aware of the inner dialogue that's going through your head right now, right fucking now. What's going through your head? What the fuck is Brad talking about, man? If whatever it is going through your head, think about it. Be aware that you have an inner voice, and whatever that inner voice is saying to you is running your fucking life. Yep. So make sure, do you want to plant oak seeds or do you want to plant weeds? Because your mind's a garden and you're basically deciding what your future is going to be by your inner dialogue. And so you want to make sure that that shit's true.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, and another thing, when it comes to personal responsibility, every single thing that shows up in your life is your fucking fault, period. Yeah. As soon as you learn that, you are super powerful. There's a quote by James Allen, a guy wrote a book called As a Man Thinketh. And the quote says, circumstances do not create the man, they reveal him. Yeah. Now, how many people on this call are probably saying there's a reason why I can't do wholesaling? It's this, or this. Those are your circumstances and they're your justifications. Well, guess what? You're lying to yourself, because those circumstances are just a product of your thoughts and your actions up until this point. You look around you right now, whatever you see around you, some of it you like, some of it you don't. That's your fucking scorecard, man, for everything you've thought up to this point. Yeah. The circumstances are just showing you what you've created. That's it. Yeah. So you can change it. The best part about that is not to be critical, but to realize you're in control, man. You're the captain of the ship. Put down your rudder and start driving, man. Yeah.
Yeah. What we're talking about here, as I started to embrace some of these principles into my life, I noticed it had a remarkable change on my personal partner relationship. My wife, it's like dealing with her now, with me being honest with myself about everything, became like the fix. You know what I mean? Because how do you have a relationship with somebody who doesn't know what the hell all the time and where they're coming from? Am I even making sense, or am I just off?
No, it is kind of hard to explain it, but essentially when you aren't being honest with yourself, then you can't, you have no position to stand from. Like when you're honest with yourself, you're centered and you're in your power. Yeah. Now, if you say something to your wife or to your girlfriend and you're like, man, I can't believe you did that, you need to be like, why did I say that? You know what? The real reason I said that, because I'm fucking insecure and I'm mad because that guy's better looking, or I think she might like him better than me, or you need to just be honest.
Yeah. And that's attractive, like, because a woman can trust that.
Yeah, dude. Vulnerability will set you free as soon as you start to see where this is really coming from. And that's the radical personal responsibility. When you do something wrong in your life, act out to somebody or call a friend out on something, or say something you shouldn't have said because somebody offended you. You need to go look at why you said it and realize, you know what? The reason that Brad said that was because he was actually scared, because he remembers the last time that he met somebody like that and they fucking did this to him. Yeah. I was just scared. And then you're like, okay, I see it. Fine. And then you go back to that person and be like, I'm being real, man. This is what, I'm sorry. That's, and man, that shit sets you free. Yeah.
Yeah.
People think it shows weakness,
Yeah.
but it gives you power.
Oh.
Shut up.